Children, now let us discuss the coastal trade in ancient Tamil Nadu. As you all know, Pumpugar was one of the second capital of Chola dynasty. It was an important port, flourished well in trade from 200 BC onwards. It was the major center of international trade with both eastern and western people. Silk was the major export from this port. Big cities like Pumbuhar had the Maruvurapakam and Pattinapakam. What do you mean by this Maruvurapakam and Pattinapakam? Is just nothing that Maruvurapakam is inland town and Pattinapakam is coastal town. Okay, the port towns like Tondi, Korkai, Puhar, and Musiri were the ports which were always busy with imports and export activities. The people who lived in these ports developed their international trade contacts. They engaged in different kinds of activities like fishing, pearls, collecting the pearls and selling them into the international markets, and conches, etc. They also produced huge quantity of salt. As you all know, India is a tropical country. So we would always have a bright sunshine at least 8 to 9 months in a year. Only we'll have 2 to 3 months the heavy rain and other things will be there, and rest of the months we'll be having a bright sunshine. This climatic condition is well suited for the production of salt. Whereas in most of the other countries, the sunshine is very less throughout the year. Only they will be having a feeble sunshine, that too for 2 to 3 months. So, the salt production is not possible in those countries. So, there is always a huge demand for the salt produced by the tropical countries like India. Dear children, we must be proud of our ancestors. They had the excellent skills of building ships and small boats in those days. The boats which were used in small rivers for inland transport were called by different names: Padagu, Thimil, Thoni, not Dhoni, Ambu, and Odam Punai. So again, I am repeating this: Padagu, Thimil, Thoni, Ambu, Odam Punai. All these were the beautiful Tamil names which denote the small boats which are used in the small rivers to travel internally, that is within the country, for different commercial activities. In the same way, the big ships which were used in big oceans to travel different countries were also called as different Tamil names. So, what are the Tamil names? Those denote the very big ships used in the international trade: Kalam, Marakalam, Vangam, and Navai. Kalam, Marakalam, Vangam, and Navai. That's all, children. So, the above said were the important facts about the coastal trade in ancient Tamil Nadu. Children, now let's see the important trade centers in the coastal Tamil Nadu. So, the important trade centers are Alamparai, Alagankulam, Pumpuhar, Marakkanam, Vasava Samudram, and Mailapur. So, these are the important trade centers. Okay, now let's see about these ports briefly. Alamparai. This Alamparai is situated 20 kilometers southeast of Madurandagam in Kanjipuram district. It was once a flourishing place of commerce. Okay, then where is this Alagankulam? Alagankulam is a village situated on the east coast of Bengal in Ramanathapuram district. Okay, next we have discussed many things about this Pumbuhar. Okay, Marakkanam. Marakkanam, it is a port town situated in the Vilpuram district. It is in the east coast road. Okay, how about this Vasava Samudram? It's a new name. At least we have not come across this name frequently. But this Vasava Samudram is also a coastal village in Kanjipuram district. It is situated near Mamallapuram, so few kilometers away from Mamallapuram. And the most famous thing is Mailapur. Once it was a coastal port. Mylapore, as you all know, Mylapore is in Chennai and it's well versed in trade center even nowadays. It is very nearer to the Santhom beach. Role of the government during ancient Tamil Nadu. Children, in this topic, we are going to learn about Yavanas and Jonagas. Okay, who are Yavanas? Generally, the foreigners who transacted business were known as Yavanas. So all the the people, those who have transacted business from any country, generally they are called as Yavanas. Whereas the Arabs who traded with the Tamil people were called as Jonagas. The greatest Tamil literature, Pattinapalai, mentions and praises the Pumbuhar, which is also called as Kaveri Pumpattinam, was a city where foreigners from different countries speaking different languages assembled there for business transactions. They had very high civilization also. The kings were also supporting and encouraging this type of international business to improve the standard of living of the people. The state concentrated in two aspects. The first one is maintaining and developing infrastructure facilities, and the next one is administering taxation on the products. Okay, these infrastructure facilities were improved to encourage trade and commerce. During the Sangam period, they built and protected the main trade routes passing through the thick forests of Western Ghats. The state and the officials were also well responsible to protect the merchants' caravans from the robbery and from the attack of wild animals. Okay, what do you mean by caravans? It's generally a cart they were using to carry the loads of things, consumable articles, for the trade for selling and buying from one place to another. The main roads were known as Peruvali. Nowadays we call it as national highways, isn't it? The same way, in those days, these main roads constructed by the state government were called as Peruvali. They have also expanded the infrastructure of ports, lighthouses, warehouses, etc. The lighthouses were maintained well to help the fishermen and the traders who were sailing in the oceans. The warehouses, which means the godowns, were constructed and maintained well to facilitate the traders to safeguard their products safely without deterioration or damage due to climatic condition or any other reasons. As it is said earlier that this Pumbuhar or Kaveri Pumpattinam was the chief port of Cholas. The Cholas, they have also developed small ports in Nagapattinam, Marakkanam and Arikamedu. Okay, let's see what was the role of Pandyas. Pandyas were also developed the ports like Korkai, Saliyur, Kayal, Maringavur Pattinam and Kumari for foreign trade. It is interesting to know, children, even in those days, the states installed checkposts to collect customs duty along the highways and the ports. Contribution of Kaudilya to trade. Dear children, now you are going to learn about a famous and renowned economist of ancient age. He is none other than Kaudilya. He was the greatest economist in the court of Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, What was his contribution to this commercial world? He had written one excellent book called Arthashastra. What is the meaning of Arthashastra? Actually, it is a Sanskrit word. Artha means economy, money, trade, business, commerce, etc. Whereas Shastra means the rules and regulations and the policies to be followed in the field of commerce. In this book, he has given numerous valuable guidance which were followed not only by the Mauryan kings but suits well to the today's economy also. This book brought out the history of marketing practiced some 2000 years ago. It is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Okay, according to according to Kaudilya, the trade in India was centralized. Dear children, as we all know, the things and the commodities produced could not be consumed in that place itself. That is, the consumers are far away from that place of production. So, the state designated certain places to sell these commodities. Usually, it would be a center place which would be easy for the common people to access. And it is also clear that those places would have all the transport facilities to enable the smooth movement of goods and people. The state levied duties on the goods bought. Only the authorized merchants were allowed to sell the products at the prices fixed by the chief controllers of state trading, so that the sellers cannot charge a higher rate from the customers. The profit margin allowed was just 5% for indigenous goods and 10% for imported goods. Thus, it is very clear that no trader shall exploit the poor and the common people by charging higher prices. The standard of living of people was also enhanced because of the import trade. Kaudilya also gave importance to the for the state of treasury, taxation, industry, commerce. He was much concerned about the preservation and conservation of natural resources. As you all know, the importance of preserving the natural resources, then only our next generation will also have a peaceful living in this earth. Kaudilya focused in his book on creation of wealth as to promote the well-being of the state. Dear children, he also insisted the maintenance of balance between the state management and the welfare of the people through these trade and commercial activities. Children, we must be proud that we had such an eminent economist in our country years ago.